FURIA will continue what has been a phenomenal run here in game number 1 from the phenomenal run that they had yesterday on their last game day.
Yeah, certainly momentum on their side from yesterday. They are feeling confident. You can see the way they are moving around the map and manipulating the map in their favor to get these kills as NGNL will go down. 5 squads now remain, but it's still Bleed center zone here with a building to work with cover to work with, whereas every other team kind of is out in the open at the moment using any rock they can to try and stay alive.
Well, Keon found a cheeky little spot there. He got stunned for a second, but didn't take too much damage by the looks of things from that bang ult. And now you're seeing Keon. He's going to overextend a little bit. He's going to find a little bit of space, and he's going to find a knock as well. Waltzy is also starting to get a little bit active inside of this building as Bleed Esports, who have been center zone, will be eliminated as well. And Not Moist are fighting like animals. Every 3v3 we see them in, they're just wiping them.
Not Moist full sent it onto Bleed, and they said, actually, that building looks pretty nice. And now FURIA get involved with the Oblivion fight. But now it's a 3 versus 3, Not Moist versus FURIA. We do have the building available for Not Moist, but they are currently spreading themselves to try and get angles, and they almost take down Madness because of it.
Well, Keon takes a little bit of damage as well, and you can see that Guild and Waltzy trying to do what they can just to hold the line at the moment. Timmy's the player who's playing a little bit of an off angle here as we see FURIA retreats to Keon, who is going to be playing that rock. Now, when you're talking about zone, when you're talking about positioning, Not Moist certainly have that at the moment with the building that they find themselves in and with the spray that comes in as well. However, look at Keon with that havoc from distance, taking down Waltzy, and now it's up to Not Moist to turn this fight around, and they managed to make it a 2v2.
Yeah, it certainly turned around. 2v2 now. Timmy and Gil should be able to reset ever so slightly, but now you can see the push coming through.
Timmy, left on his own. It's a 1v1. Timmy trying to do what he can. He's got armor swaps to play with as well. Tries to switch his attention to this player and find the knockdowns to play behind as well. Medkit going to be popped in the meantime. Lot of pressure coming in. He's trying to stick this medkit, and if he can, surely he's in a position to clutch this up. And oh, Timmy! Timmy will win the 1v1. He will clutch. And Not Moist will be your champions in game 1.
Disguised up on top, and this is a great spot for them, especially when Design and his classic Sentinel being used. Native right underneath, sharing the building with them. Complexity down below, and Bleed Esports and Oblivion rounding out our final squads.
Well, this looks like something out of the Crystal Maze right now. You can see the dome has gone down. The exhibit is lighting up every single player who is inside of that elevated structure. The problem for all of these teams is in the next few moments, they have to drop because they are going to be forced in by the zone, and that makes the game a little bit easier for the likes of Bleed Esports, even as a duo, and Complexity, who are still a trio. Also, Oblivion, who are underneath this structure at the moment, might be able to just kind of sneak their way into position to pick up the KP as everyone does fall, but Designful has a chance to create an opening with his Sentinel. If he can hit a headshot, then maybe he can change their fortunes.
It's a difficult thing right now, and this is the Bangalore ultimate. That's going to force them to either take this damage or move, and I think they got to take the damage, hit a shield battery, and try to just withstand it, right? Because they can't fall down this early, so there will be maybe a little bit of healing and some slow pacing here. In fact, it avoids all of Disguise. I'm not sure how that was angled, but somehow don't take any damage from that one. That was from Bleed Esports, Oblivion, and now they're going to try to be pushing in as well. Disguise still on top. 5 squads left, and reads this is Oblivion, who looks to be going down, and there's another Bangalore ultimate as well. Going to try to give space for DSG if they can do it. They've got a tall task ahead of them to try to win this one, because sooner than later they will not be able to stay here.
I mean, one thing they can do, though, is they can zip above Complexity. They can take a zip towards any of the buildings, any of the rocks, and obviously the fact that you get 50% less damage, it means they should be able to cross and at least put up some sort of fight. The problem is the whole lobby, including Lou with a devotion, lights them up. So Complexity continue to hold this spot. They will not give this up.
And Complexity are doing everything they need to do. This could be a win for them, but they cannot throw it here. Lou inside the building. Kimchi locking it up with the ferrofluid onto the doors. Rambo and Native pushing in as well. Snipe down, taking a peek. RKN with a thermite. It misses. And there's a Gibraltar ultimate. I can't believe a defensive bombardment's in a final zone in the ALGS in match day 9, but it's certainly doing damage. Native, they're still alive, but Complexity come in, and it's Complexity making it as simple as possible. They get the W to close out game number 2.
And so, unfortunately for him, the Rolling Thunder from Zap is going to take him down. It's a beautiful bang ult coming in from TSM. And all of a sudden, TSM are overlooking all of this. Team Liquid Alienware are eliminated. We're down to 3.
This should be TSM's game. Surely there's no way they throw this one away from here. Empire as a solo, and they're against Board. So really, they just have to wait for the solo to kind of get involved and maybe do a little bit of damage. TSM are closer to this zone as well. Board will have to drop first and get involved. The only worry for TSM is lack of cover, but they've been able to find a little ledge to work with.
Also, getting absolutely nailed by a triple take is going to help if you're trying to force your way onto their position. Board will have to drop, and Board have just dropped. They've swung out to the left, I think, and they're trying to take some angles, and TSM decide, hey, let's just back up. Let's reset. Let's let the lobby take care of itself. Empire Gaming will be eliminated. So the solo has gone, and the triple take, again, is still causing them some problems. They have to just bide their time here, TSM.
It's not actually as much of a guarantee as I first thought now that the Empire solo has been eliminated so successfully by Board. Very impressive from them to recognize it was a solo. It could have been a thorn in the side, but they quickly ensure that they take him down. So now it's a straight 3v3. Yes, Board do have to drop first, but there is certain cover that they can play with. If they use smokes effectively, they can smoke out TSM and get into a position to maybe take some high ground away from them here. This is going to be a very interesting engagement, and ultimates could be a huge difference here. You can see Verhost has smokes to work with, but no bang ult that he can put down.
Jen is down as well, so grenades aren't going to be effective. TSM will be able to eat those up. Reps is playing the anchor role at the moment, and he's maybe going to look for a stick as a player tries to fall. Do a little bit of damage on the way down. Reps is now going to have to move up to his teammate, but the catwall is going to force TSM away. But there's the Gen doing its job. It's going to eat up all of those grenades that are being thrown, and MJ takes some damage. The scan comes in, and TSM realize that he's isolated. They're trying to swing on him.
I love the catwall to try and take the high ground, and I love the swing from TSM as well. And they do get the opener here.
Zap will get that opener. Verhost will follow up, and Verhost will finish off as well. TSM will win the final game here on Storm Point.
And now FURIA should be able to get back up to a 2, but you could see that seer scan just temporarily delays it, but they did sadly lose their third. So it's just going to be Keon and Vaxlon trying to work their way through this zone as a duo now.
Will be a tough mobile respawn beacon. We'll see if they can get their third back up. But as you can see, not for many med kits there on the side of TSM. Maybe a syringe was popped, but you could tell that they are bleeding a little bit. Speaking of bleed, Esports, they're on top, 6th place again. We know they're comfortable with that position. Let's go over to EEC, though, and follow along with what they're doing on the top of the sniper tower. You know how dangerous they could be, but they're fighting an even more dangerous team, potentially, in Liquid Alienware. Seer comes up with the silence. January goes back up to get with the squad, and EEC stay alive, and they look to finish off Yanya.
All the meanwhile, by the way, TSM have been able to skirt around the north, and as long as they can win this engagement against Bleed, they could potentially be in one of the better spots. But Bleed are using that cat wall. The Dark Veil comes down so they can get the cover and not be shot by other people, but it seems like there's so many squads looking at them right now. Bleed moved to try and contest TSM on the north, but it looks like it might not pay off here.
TSM, Liquid Alienware, Bleed, Empire Gaming, they all fall down. All the soldiers' men. And now LG looking to find a way to win this battle, if not the war, for the game. We told you they sometimes like to heat up at the end. And World's Edge with a Sky West pick at Skyhook with a zone that favored them. They could just be LG's moment. So far, though, Tempr goes down to Stay Naughty, finding damage with the Havoc and the Hemlock just like that, and gets his level 3 perk at the end. He may not need it, though, because he's still got EEC and LG to go through.
And what a contrast it is from LG, from early exits on Storm Point with a bad POI to the best POI here on World's Edge and making it count. Now it's a 3 versus 3 against Cloud9. LG do have the north, but the zone is going to pull them a little bit further south. Arguably, Cloud9 have lack of cover here, and LG can spread themselves out and try and create a pinch. This is going to be a difficult one to get out of for C9.
That's a see you later. Good night, sweet dreams. LG Funk and Sykes saw that it was just a seer scan saying, you got 2 up going against us? Oh, no problem at all. LG happy to swing and happy to swing for the fences. Home run and a game 1 here in game 4 on World's Edge.
Squads now remaining. TSM still alive, FURIA still alive, Eternal up on the high ground above them, Fluffy Aim is still in the god spot, Complexity, Bleed, and Disguise, your final squads.
Native Gaming putting a good amount of points on the board, but not necessarily enough to be comfortable. Speaking of comfortable, are Disguised are everything but at the moment, but it looks like they are going to be able to reset a gold res as well to be able to work with here. So Disguised get the chance to really assess what's going to go on, but no, it's not going to happen because from above, sadly, they are taken out and DSG now down to a 2.
Keon's still alive as the Pathfinder, by the way, and this is one of the things we don't talk about with Pathfinder, the ability to stay alive as a solo, to zip around, to be an absolute nuisance to the lobby. He's got into the top 5 now as he finishes off Verholst as well, but that might be the end of it here. No grapple available. He will be taken down. FURIA eliminated. We have now just the 4 squads.
This is big for Disguise, though. They're into the top 4. They pushed themselves into the overall top 6. And if they can just find that one extra step, get into the top 3, those points could be vital. And it does give them a chance going into match 6 of still making regional finals, which really would be incredible. If you consider the position they were in prior to this weekend, when it looked like they were down and looked like they were out, and now the fact that it is possible, it's in touching distance for Disguised, really we have to give them credit. But the job is not done yet. Now, Bleed Esports are going to be above them. Fluffy Aimers still hold one of the priority positions, and Complexity still in this one as well.
Dark Veil going to go down. And that's going to be from Bleed Esports, I believe, trying to move their way and inch their way forward just a little bit. Shots coming in, but not great ones coming in from Shuby, but enough to just force that team away from the height. And now they have to play close to this wall. They know there's going to be teams that will look down upon them, but if they hear a fight take place, if they see an opportunity to move, Disguise take it out. As our 4th squad in this lobby, they will get 4th place. But if a fight breaks out, then Bleed Esports will have the opportunity to climb up and maybe do some damage. But Complexity now, they have the zone at their backs, and that's causing them problems.
Fluffy Aimers, by the way, who were outside of the regional spots before this day, are now finding themselves within the top 3 and a chance to get a big game on the board with the victory as Complexity go down. It's Fluffy Aimers versus Bleed.
They get the first knock as well, so Fluffy Aimers now in a 3v2 to win the game, to send match number 5 their way and give themselves a chance at maybe making regional finals. It's one more player to find. Find him they do. It's just a case of finishing this off. Fluffy Aimers in game number 5, our penultimate game of the day, give themselves a chance.
To get to regional finals, it will depend what happens around them. Teams like Tempr could really change the fortunes of Board's chances of qualifying for regional finals as well.
But somehow Not Moist managed to force themselves into the bottom of this building, and now they will control at least 1 floor. So while everyone else has to fight, they can just bide their time, get healthy, reset a little bit. Tempr are trying to look at them as well. Elsewhere down on the low ground, LG, who already have 1 win here on World's Edge, just avoiding all of the lines of sight and using that cover that's provided by the bridge. Tempr now make their move onto Not Moist. This is a big moment in this game, and the big spray coming in from Walsey.
Massive shots, and it's Tempr that are going down, and Tempr who potentially going out. How are their chances going to be for regional finals? But for Not Moist, they are so strong and healthy right now with all of these red Evos to work with, and they find themselves in such a good position. The way they are working together, the chemistry is on point. What a change it has been for Moist. Adding Timmy to this roster, they now push themselves up into 2nd place. They are chasing TSM.
And you have to remember as well, it's not just the addition of Timmy. Walsey taking over as the IGL is making some great decisions for them in this match day, and especially when the pressure is at its highest in this final game for them. Not Moist doing such an incredible job to force their way into this building. Pick up the kills around it, command the space as well as the zone now starts to close.
nail-biting moments, not just for those who are at the top of the leaderboards, but also those who are around 20th, those who played yesterday and are watching on, eagerly awaiting to see how many points are required by those who are around them. But it is not Moist who are in the ascendancy at the moment, trying to push up on the team that is above them, but just patiently waiting. Maybe because they're forced to, because of these Watson fences, it is such a difficult push to try and make.
Well, now they're going to send it. The damage is there. The knock is going to come in as well. Waltzy gets yet another kill as Cloud9 now will fall at the hands of Not Moist. This is a monster game from them, but the zone now is making their decisions even more difficult. It's a blind rotate out of this building into the zone. Waltzy's going to be last to go. Maybe he's going to try and pop a med kit and force himself to survive a little bit longer. Timmy goes down. 3 squads remaining as Flat will fall. MPIRE Gaming will fall as well as Not Moist still are in this game.
Not Moist up into second place and chasing TSM, but I don't know if they can have a chance here. No, it's LG who come out on top. LG who get another victory here on World's Edge. It may have been all about Not Moist, but LG went under the radar and get another dub here on World's Edge.